guys, welcome back to Ancestors and Alcohol. So today I'm back with part 2 of my DNA ancestry test. So last week I just went through the percentages and kind of broke down everything it says I was all jumbled up and mixed with. This week I'm doing my communities. So basically the communities are groups that they put you in depending on, I guess, where your ancestors from and where they migrated to and migrated from. So I was excited to do these because I'm actually able to pinpoint, okay, they're from South Carolina and this is where my family's from. Like, I actually know that part of this. So I hope that you guys enjoy the video. If you have any questions, ask me. If you want to know anything about your communities or anything like that, just hit me up. I hope that you guys enjoy. Thank you for watching. So the first group, community that it says I'm a part of is the early North Carolina African Americans, and it says that the connection is likely through the Cameroon, Benin, and in England. So on my father's side, his paternal side, they're all from North Carolina, like Bladenboro, North Carolina, up in that area. And then my father's maternal side, they're from Georgetown, Plantersville, Georgetown, and then they migrated to Bucksport, South Carolina, which is on the coast of South Carolina by Myrtle Beach. And the England part will come from my mother's side, which, I'm not too fond of that, but it comes from my mother's maternal side, and they are in like Kinston and Lenoir County, and some of them migrated up to Virginia. And then on my mother's maternal side, my mother's paternal side, they're all from the coast of North Carolina, like Currituck over there by Wilmington. So that explains early North Carolina African Americans and why it would say that that's where my people started from, because that's where they did start from. The next community that pops up on my Ancestry DNA test was the Carolinas Eastern Border African Americans, and that's just the northern part of South Carolina, like by the coast, and then the southern part of North Carolina, also by the coast. I mean, it kind of branches out a little bit, but then you have like these subcategories underneath it. So the first subcategory was Southern North Carolina Coast African Americans, and it seems that both of these subcategories focus on my father's paternal side. It really doesn't have my mother's maternal side and where they resided. So like I said, the first subcategory was Southern North Carolina Coast African Americans, and that mainly focuses on the northern part of South Carolina. And you can't see this, but on your DNA story, it will give you a timeline, and mine starts with 1750 and it goes to 1925, and it kind of shows like where your family migrated from. So from basically the 1700s until now, my family on my father's maternal side, they all live in Bucksport, South Carolina, which is right next to Myrtle Beach. It's like 30 minutes outside of Myrtle Beach. It's a real small town, and Plantersville, Georgetown wasn't far from there. So everybody basically migrated and stayed in South Carolina. Now the subcategory, the other one, Southeast North Carolina African Americans, that kind of focuses on like the Bladenboro area of North Carolina, and like I stated before, that's where my father's paternal side of the family lived. Like, that's where they started off at, and slowly but surely they all migrated down to Bucksport, South Carolina, like Conway as well. And that's actually how my grandmother and my grandfather met. They all met down there in Bucksport and Conway. I'm not really sure why they migrated down there. That's something I would have to ask my grandmother or somebody on my grandfather's side of the family. But that's why I have the Carolinas Eastern Border African Americans. That explains all of that. So the next community that it says that I'm a part of is the Mid-Atlantic Coast African Americans, and that is North Carolina and Virginia, and it goes up and it kind of touches like the Delaware area. Mainly it's all on the coast though, and this side is my maternal side. It doesn't really show anybody from my father's side. So then it breaks down into the subcategories. So the first subcategory is Northeastern North Carolina and Southeast Virginia African Americans, and this is my mother's paternal side. So my grandfather is from Currituck, North Carolina, which is on the coast by like kind of close to Wilmington and stuff like that, and if you go up a little bit then you'll be in Virginia. And all of his family that I found so far, they're all from Currituck, and some of them migrated up to Virginia Beach, and others even migrated up to New York. It doesn't have New York on here, which is strange because a big part of that side of the family lives up there. And throughout the years, they've just kind of stayed there, basically in North Carolina, Virginia, and then on up. The next subcategory is the North Carolina Coast African Americans, and that is further inward of North Carolina. So that's my mother's maternal side. Most of my grandparents, like my great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents on that side, they were all from like Kinston, North Carolina, Trenton, North Carolina, like Jones County, all those areas. And that side is kind of the side that's a little mixed up with white and black. It's just like a long thing, like a long story or whatever. But that's where all of them live, and a few of them actually migrated up to Virginia as well, so I can see why this grouped me in this whole category. It's just been pretty interesting finding everything out about why it grouped it, but I like this aspect of it because I can kind of connect more with it, being that it shows what part of the United States you're from. And I would assume that if you were from a different country and continent that it would do the same for you. But I can relate to this because I can kind of pinpoint, like, okay, my great-great-grandfather was from here, and my great-grandmother was from here, and this is how they migrated, and this is where they ended up at. So I can see the relativity to this part. So those are the three communities that it says that I'm a part of, and I just, like I said, I just kind of broke down how it relates to what I know and what I've researched. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope that this will help anybody that's looking to start their family research. Please make sure that you subscribe, as well as follow my Instagram and Facebook at ancestorsanalcohol.com. I will also put a link to my blog down below. Goodbye, beautiful Black people.